I'd like to begin Module 2 by offering a paradox. Throughout the change management platform, whether in private enterprise or government, and in every program and university, you will begin to learn, digest, and understand the history and development of the main change management models. We always start with Kurt Lewin's famous unfreeze, change, refreeze model. Lewin, the purported father of change management, developed his model on 3 basic steps which paved the way for present-day OCM initiatives. We also refer to it as CATS, or change as 3 steps. Although there are Lewin champions, for the most part, the OCM world, including academia, are quick to pronounce Lewin's model as being oversimplistic. Many argue Lewin's concept of refreezing is inappropriate in today's complex and swiftly changing business environment that requires flexibility, agility, and adaptation. I mentioned I'd begin with a paradox because you see the problem is, what if this model was never developed by Kurt Lewin? What would happen if this model did not really resemble Kurt Lewin's actual thought process? What if his intended thought process had actually been much more complex and that we just were not in possession of that information? A September 30th, 2015 scholarly article written by Cummings, Bridgman, and Brown take a deep dive into the factual history of Kurt Lewin and his many faceted work, including field theory. The authors argue that Lewin never developed the unfreeze, change, refreeze model, and the theory actually took shape after Lewin's death. The writers fervently explain Lewin's own philosophy was not oversimplistic, but instead a detailed evidence-based theory arguing groups are in constant adaptation mode rather than the state of either unfrozen or refrozen. They also purport there is no evidence of the theory of CATS found in Lewin's writings. In fact, the article goes on to purport that nowhere in Lewin's writings did he ever mention the term refreezing. And the theory is not based upon Lewin's viewpoint, but instead is based upon others repackaging and marketing what Lewin actually wrote. That's a direct citation from Unfreezing Change as 3 Steps, Rethinking Kurt Lewin's Legacy for Change Management by Cummings, Bridgman, and Brown. I will reference the citation at the end notes when this teaching program has been completed after Module 10. So instead, what I want to point out is this article suggests the first mention of unfreezing, stabilizing, and refreezing as a concept of change was in 1950 in a conference paper written by Lewin's former student, Leon Festinger. So this was in fact after Lewin's death. So what are we meant to do now? Does this make the Lewin model irrelevant and obsolete? And my answer is no. The unfreeze, change, refreeze theory is the backbone to all other change management theories. And the scholarly writing implies that Lewin's personal philosophy was more complex than a simple 3-step model, wherein the father of change management considered the area of change to require future complex thought with a focus on adaptability. So my point is, this model was never sufficient. Even Lewin didn't think it was sufficient. Yet, it lays the ground for change management as we know it. The point of this module is to consider that there is no one perfect change management model, and instead, a blending of OCM models should be employed when creating all change management initiatives.